So, Among Us, am I right or am I right?
Among Us, Among Us. Among Us, Among Us, Among Us, Among Us.
It's no shocker to anyone that Among Us has been on a pretty steep decline from its heyday being the most epic, most popular video game ever. And it's now fallen so far from grace that it's now boiled down into becoming its own little sort of irrelevant meme that you'll hear your 7-year-old cousin talking about at the dinner table. I could honestly list so many reasons on why this game died as fast as it did. Maybe it's because that when you truly look at it, all Among Us really is the same game you've been playing for about 2 years. And not to mention, every update takes about basically another year to come out. While I really did love the roles update, I can't really look at it as anything more except a distraction from the fact that we've been playing the same game mode since the game has come out. And not to mention, we haven't had a new map in about basically 2 years. And let's be honest here, the airship sucks. I am a proud airship hater and I will always be till the day I die. And due to all of those reasons, Among Us basically became this little game in my friend group that we basically play when we are purely bored out of our minds. We'll hop on for about an hour, gather everyone up, exchange a few death threats, and then hop off and go play a different game. But this past month, Innersloth has been doing some things to get Among Us back into the mainstream. Recently, after about a year or so in development, Shield Games released the cash grab known as Among Us VR. I'm sorry to the dev team that actually spent a lot of time working on this, but this game released at an awful state and should have had its release date pushed back farther. That way they could actually get, more content for the game. The game released with one map, barely any cosmetics, a DLC that added more cosmetics on launch day, and let's also not forget about the awful servers. And better yet, why is there no option to party up with your friends? I mean, seriously, that wouldn't have been that hard to add. It just all goes back to this game being obviously rushed and pushed out for a release date, which, it just further pushes the idea of this being a cash grab and not really a passion project. Better yet, I can't really enjoy the game when every lobby I'm in just feels like I'm at a daycare. But hey, Innersloth just announced that they're going to be having another Among Us reveal at the Game Awards 2022. Hopefully it's going to be good. Ask Kratos.
Kratos, can you stream?
Yeah, I'll screen share.
I want to watch.
Among Us! Oh, screen share Among Us! Among Us! Among Us!
What's the new Among Us shit? Is it a new map? Is it, what is it? Oh.
That looks disgusting. That looks
They're adding a new
genuinely...
mode.
So, if it wasn't obvious, I was clearly not a fan of the idea of Among Us Hide and Seek. While it was nice to see a new game mode coming to the game, I honestly thought it was originally just gonna flat out suck. Hide and Seek was already something you could basically do in Among Us, so the idea of dedicating an entire update into turning it into its own standalone game mode just seemed dumb and a waste of time. But I was wrong. I was extremely wrong. I couldn't have ever been so wrong. I was so stupid and idiotic to assume such a marvelous company like Innersloth themselves would actually waste their time making a boring game mode that was going to suck. Among Us Hide and Seek honestly feels a lot more fun than the original game mode in its current state right now. I was genuinely surprised by how much they can make something this simple in concept work so well, but they somehow managed to do it. The way Among Us Hide and Seek works is just as it sounds. The game chooses one seeker and the rest are hiders. After a quick countdown, the seeker is set free to hunt down and locate all the other players. It's pretty much as simple as that. You chase, kill, repeat until after the initial clock ends. After that, you enter into your second phase. You're much faster, and not to mention you basically get a sort of admin map that allows you to see where the other players are. And last but not least, you get a radar that randomly pings in the general location to crewmates. On the other hand, for the hiders, at the start of the round you just basically go around and do your basic task while trying to avoid the seeker. One super unique thing about this game mode is the fact that they do equip the hiders with a set amount of vents, which is something that adds a new element of fun to the game, since there's always a chance that if you somehow manage to have a leftover vent and the seeker's chasing right behind you, you may have the slight chance to get into a vent and escape your imminent demise. But at the same time, you have to be quite resourceful with them. I prefer to only play with the one turned on because it makes things a lot more intense, because once you use that one vent, you're not going to be able to use it again. So it forces the player to use their get out of jail card wisely. And once the seeker goes to his final stage, you're just basically forced to hide until the timer runs out. I love this gameplay loop a lot. It keeps everything fair and simple while also giving objectives for crewmates to do, so they just don't have to go around and sit in the corner for 8 minutes. Something Hide and Seek does better than the original Among Us game mode is that it honestly works well in public lobbies, due to the whole game mode just mainly focusing around hiding. That way, you don't really have to rely on some 8-year-old snot-ridden kid playing on his iPhone iPhone to be smart enough to not just vote you off because some other guy claims he saw you do it. But on the offhand, you happen to manage to have enough friends to collect to start a full public lobby, this game works so well with voice chat. Personally, one of the best ways I've found to play this game is to either A, via crew link, but if that's too hard to set up, a really fun way is everyone just hops up in a Discord call and whoever gets Seeker goes on mute and deafen. That way everyone's able to communicate to each other on certain topics, and if everyone's able to work together, they're basically able to have a general location of the Seeker at all times. Now this may just be me being a huge coward, which granted I am a huge coward, but Among Us hide and seek can be genuinely terrifying. Now I know that sounds bad, but let me rephrase. This is not scary, but this is.
I don't even care about the task. Let's just like not do our task, guys, because that's like the fun of it.
We gotta go to Oak
Oh, please! No! Oh, please! No, where is he? Where is he? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, please! Oh.
Oh, hey, Sammy.
The way the atmosphere works in this game causes high amounts of stress extremely quickly. The fact that at any time while you're just peacefully doing a task, the Seeker can just come up right behind you and slaughter you is terrifying enough. Plus, with the fact that you're going to be having music blaring into your ear constantly, only getting louder when the Seeker gets closer and closer, just makes things 10 times more intense. It's genuinely a recipe for chaos. On the topic of music, Seek actually is a banger. It sets the mood for this game mode perfectly, always constantly building up and getting more intense as time goes on. One of my favorite songs in gaming. Also, while I know I'm probably sounding like such a loser for calling an Among Us song peak gaming OST, you just gotta trust me, okay? Listen to it either on YouTube or in the game itself. You're gonna love it. Trust. Just trust, please. Please, trust me! So to wrap this video up, I gotta say I love this game mode a lot, and I honestly had no idea that I was gonna end up enjoying it so much. Because like I previously stated, I was already getting bored of Among Us, and the idea of a game mode based off of a mini game that was already playable just didn't sound right to me. So if you haven't already owned Among Us, but you haven't touched it in a while due to the game getting quite stale, I highly recommend just this once, either A, finally getting some friends you lonely shut-in, or B, just end up playing the game in a public lobby or something. I don't know, but, you know, you figure out how you're gonna do it. But if this video somehow doesn't convince you to pick up the game again, even though you should, just please go listen to Seek. Trust me, it's worth your time. I'm sad to admit that I judged a book by its cover, and now I must say I was wrong. Don't judge people by the way they look.
Okay, Timbo.